When I got bored staying at home and living in an apartment was really boring. Afterwards, I joined my husband to look for houses for rent around Asuncion. We visited some houses in poor localization. Renting there is much cheaper compared to wealthy neighborhoods. However, there is a high possibility of encountering vicious people. For this reason, it's better to live in an affluent zone. Naturally, it's much more expensive if you rent an apartment in Villamora. Approximately for 3 bedrooms, they charge about $1,300 per month. Renting an unfurnished modern house with 4 bedrooms, a spacious backyard, and a swimming pool, it costs you about $1,800 to $2,500. That's too much, and it's not worth it, even though it's in a quiet and safe zone. Well, it's all right to walk around all the way to the shopping malls and to the coffee shops, as there are lots of security guards in such areas. There are also options about 30 minutes away from the big city in a good neighborhood and a little bit less expensive. But generally, it is not that easy to look for a modern house and for a reasonable price in a peaceful area. We visited about 50 houses for rent already. I recently took footage of some houses that we have been visiting. This was the house that we visited in Asuncion. It has 3 bedrooms, a swimming pool, and the neighborhood is good, but I'm not really sure how peaceful it is to live there. So I will rate this house 7 out of 10 as it was a little brighter compared to other houses. There are no construction sites in this area and each room has a balcony. That was a good idea, but the views were the rooftops. The main problem is that it only has 3 rooms. It is unfurnished and the cost for renting is about $1,200. It is not that cheap. Well, still expensive for such a low quality house. If you compare it to my hometown in Tagum, Davao City, Philippines, mostly the unfurnished house for rent in the subdivision area cost you about 17,000 to 20,000 Philippine peso for 3 bedrooms, which is around $100, and is about 15 minutes away from the center. We made another plan to look for house in Encarnacion, as we were not that happy living in Asuncion. Besides, the city is overpopulated. Therefore, we visited Encarnacion to check a couple of options. The road was empty with flat terrain and lots of green on both sides for many kilometers. The travel took about 6 hours. There was no decent dinner to stop by and have some dinner. We had to wait until we reached the destination. We stayed in the hotel for about 5 days as we were checking 3 houses during our visit. The place of our stay was nice, placed near a lakefront, and there were some restaurants around. It was unwinding to look at the sunset, and the streets were cleaner than in Asuncion. Among those houses that we visited, I only took footage of the first one. This house was classy, modern, and big. However, the windows in the kitchens were not good as they were facing the wall. It wasn't bright inside and it was even more terrible as they added black color. There were 4 bedrooms and only the master bedroom had a balcony. The rest of the rooms were too small, good only for one single bed, and some of the windows were facing the walls. Also, there was no backyard. So I will rate this house 7 out of 10 as it was a good quality house close to the lake and away from the busy roads. But it wasn't satisfied with the architecture as it was too classy but narrow and gloomy inside. The price for rent is about $1,600 to $1,800. Still a lot for me. Next, the day we went back to Asuncion. This time we chose another road and we gladly found a pretty good restaurant along the road. We ordered rice and chicken and my daughter played on an outdoor playground while waiting for the meal to be served. What we learned visiting houses for rent was that we had an idea about the quality of the house, the actual design we like, and that the localization was very important. It's necessary to choose wisely and experience living in a given neighborhood before you decide to live there in the long term. In my opinion, it's difficult to purchase a house or rent a house in poor condition and unsatisfying area. If you really want to establish yourself in Paraguay, the best option is to buy land in a small town with lots of green to offer and build your own small cozy house that you wish for. It's useless to have a big house in a city with walls like a prison. Yet, we still don't know where to settle in Paraguay. It depends what the future brings us.